so buckle up. Next stop is love.
Hi, I'm Wayne Bryan, the producing artistic director for Music Theater Wichita. This time I'm also the director for our new production, Catch Me If You Can. With a book by Terrence McNally and songs by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, this is a brand new show that we're really excited to be approaching here. Based on the real-life story of Frank Abagnale Jr., but told through the medium of being a TV variety show, this is a unique opportunity for us to combine a lot of new technologies and a lot of really creative thinking in terms of 1960s costumes and sets coming to life on our stage. Here are some of the people who are helping to achieve all of this in the weeks ahead.
I'm Skylar Adams. I'm playing Frank William Abagnale Jr. I think Frank is the young man's dream. He himself kind of, I think, gives himself this superhero kind of identity, because he is this world traveler and kind of always on the run and on the chase from the cops, and somehow gets away with it all because he is really quite talented and quite good at what he does. The opening of this show doesn't start with any kind of overture. There's no real big opening number. We kind of are just in the airport, and life is happening. And I kind of get the idea from Hanratty that, oh wait, maybe I can put a show on for these people. And this is my story, and I take control of the situation and kind of throw some theater magic, and my imagination comes to life.
I don't want to wait for the cops to arrive. I want to tell my story live and live in color. To me it turned me on. Yes, I'm live and live in color. Blink your eyes and now.
Hello, I'm Interim Second Assistant Special Agent Carl Hanratty of the Bank Forgery and Fraud Subdivision of the FBI. Actually, I'm Tom Sesma, and I'm here in Catch Me If You Can. This is just great. I think I'm kind of lucky because I was from the 60s, in the 60s and the 70s when it all changed. I get to go back and draw on a lot of experiences that I had watching these things, I was a kid watching those shows, and what does a kid want to do except be a grown-up and put on a nice suit and a hat and maybe carry an FBI gun? I get to do that now. I get to play out some childhood dreams. And I think technically what the challenge is making all of that real, making sure it's not just playtime. Carl's a real rigid guy. He's a law and order guy. He has this one terrific number in Act 1 where he talks about his philosophy of life. There is right and wrong, and if you're breaking the rules, you're wrong, and you're going to get caught. It's going to come back and catch you in the behind. And I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to do it.
No, I never snuck a drink. I never stole a pack of cools, 'cause the game ain't worth winning if you're breaking all the rules.
Don't break the rules.
It's like we're living in the wild, wild west.
Don't break the rules.
God's keeping score. You don't want to fail that test.
Well, Frank Sr. thinks he's a pretty darn good con man. His son is much, much better. And so I think he takes great pride. It's kind of like a mobster seeing his son be an even better mobster. It's kind of a little sick, but he takes great pride in the fact that his son does it even better. But I think, as odd as it may sound, I think that makes him feel a little bit of a success, that he taught his son, maybe to pass on to his son how to be a really great con man. But I think at the same time, there's a sparkle in there that realizes he wishes he could have done better in some way. He dearly loves his son, but I think he feels incredibly inadequate at being a father. And that is a big part of what tortures him throughout the show, and he tries to deal with that, and he tries to make it big. He loves his family. And I think a lot of men in this world and in this town can relate to that. We would love our families, we love our wife, our children, and we do the best we can, but sometimes it just feels like we can't do enough, and he struggles with that.
This character is very different from both characters that I've played here previously. she's a war bride, and she wanted to escape from France and what her life was. Also, she is French, so there's that aspect of it. So she comes to the United States, and she's married this man, a soldier, and she thinks he's just the be-all, end-all. And then she's disillusioned. She finds that that's actually not true. She has this wonderful son, Frank Jr., and she calls him my brave little soldier because he's very much of the very best of what she thinks of her husband. And as things with her husband start to fall apart, I think she holds a lot in store with this son. But they don't do very good parenting with him. And she loves him very much, but when things fall apart, she starts to see him becoming a little too much of a chip off the old block and not the good things necessarily. And that's a disappointment to her.
Well, Brenda's kind of interesting because she doesn't come on until the second act, and she sort of develops extremely quickly. She, in my eyes, slows down Frank from all of his schemes and everything, because when he meets her, everything kind of changes for him, and everything changes for her too. And she's just a lovely, timid girl who's trying to set her own life straight and finds this guy who, in hopes, will help her do that. She looks up to him so much in the song Seven Wonders because he's telling her how he loves her more than all these things he's seen, which he has seen by playing a character. But she thinks that he's just this great, great, great guy, and he is, through somebody else.
Just a nightlight on the Fritz.
And Stonehenge,
Just a bunch of rocks.
La Brea is towards the pitch. How about the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Looks like something up and broke.
Mount Rushmore.
Someone climb up there and tell them boys.
I'm Linda Goodrich, and I'm the choreographer. And this show is based on a 60s variety show. And there's a really wonderful, eclectic mix of dances pulling from the 60s vernacular. We follow Frank's journey, and the dances really create all the different worlds and environments that Frank steps into, from the sexy nurses when he becomes a doctor to the really fresh and sassy stewardesses and pilots when he becomes a pilot. So we go into a lot of really different worlds that are really just so much fun. It's really remarkable what they do in such a short amount of time. It's really unlike any other summer stock. I think the preparation from so many months before it's such a rich process of collaboration from the beginning that when you get here, the execution of it really goes very smoothly. You get an incredible company of actors that come together. So many Broadway stars that worked here when they were kids still come back, and they call this their home. So it's a really amazing group of people to work with.
I'm Dixon Reynolds. I'm the costume designer.
I'm Robert Andrew Kovac, and I'm the set designer.
It's been a joy for me because I don't normally get to do this much color. So we're doing a lot of color and texture, so that's been a lot of fun. And I love the early 60s. It's a great period, beautiful clothes, and so that's been really fun. I'm happy to know that the Strong family is in the South. I'm Southern, and so we've done some Southern flourishes of the 60s, but also pulling on references from the Lawrence Welk Show or sort of early 60s television of sort of wholesome picket fence things. Mm-hmm. That's been really fun to do.
Complementing Dixon's costumes with just a bluish, colorful set that can be able to change any colors we want with the LED panels that we have, so that the costumes really jump out from the background and come to life. And it's really, I guess you can say, as in living color is what we're trying to create on this set as well.
Something special's up tonight. Yes, I'm live.